Greetings. I am making an update video that no one asked for, frankly, but I thought maybe there's someone out there who's curious about what I've been doing this year. It is New Year's Eve. I have the best company, myself, on this evening, and I thought, why not talk to my phone camera? So we're gonna do that. I made a list of things that I feel were significant in my year. It has been a really crazy year. I kind of just want to talk about like everything, I guess, because the year started out kind of crazy, and it just got bigger and crazier. So maybe I'll talk about like the stuff that's most recent, and then I'll talk about other things. Also, I am kind of sick right now. Just a little bit. I'm just getting sick. You know, I'm right at the beginning. So if I sound a little congested, that's why. And also, if my voice sounds lower, it's because I have been taking testosterone since September 30th. So it's been 3 months. It's been pretty cool. I like it a lot. So I'll start with that, truly. Yeah, I started taking testosterone and I have been considering taking it for literally like so long. Like since I was a teenager, really. But I've been so afraid of how my voice would change and like my singing voice. And I still get scared sometimes when I am singing and there's certain notes that are difficult to hit and I have to kind of like try again. But I'm mostly just excited to see how I will change. And yeah, like I tell everyone that when I first started taking it, it was as if an essential nutrient had been introduced after it has been missing forever. And I still genuinely feel that way. It's just like my ability to function is it is so significant, like the ways that I have been able to function just on like a simple level, like my body giving me signals that I'm hungry and actually I can't ignore them anymore. Like previously I had just been ignoring my hunger and I would be like, oh, I'm feeling hungry. I guess I'll eat within the next like 5 hours. And now it's just like, I can't do that anymore. So it kind of forced me out of disordered eating, which makes me think honestly that disordered eating was part of dysphoria, which is crazy to consider, honestly. But that's a little heavy. Anyway, yeah, it's been great. I feel so embodied like since starting testosterone. And that is like, I can't believe how long I've just been like kind of dipping. I'm like halfway in the body. I'm like really only in my head. And now it's just like, no, I'm in the whole body. And I had started to feel more embodied over this summer too, because something I wrote down is that in the end of May, I started doing yoga. And for a couple reasons, the main reason being that back in May, I decided that I wanted to like become a bricklayer. And so I wanted to get stronger, and like I felt like a strength building yoga was a pretty accessible way to do that. And so I have been recently I've kind of fallen off because I'm trying to recalibrate my schedule. But through the summer, like truly through to August, I was doing yoga like 4 times a week minimum. And I have been watching just yoga videos. Like I don't go to a class. But I stay watching Breathe and Flow here on YouTube. Like for some reason, like I don't know if other people have this experience, but sometimes when someone's first language is not English, and they are speaking English, it is like easier for me to comprehend than someone whose first language is English. And maybe that isn't for everyone. But in this specific instance with Breathe and Flow, which it's like a couple, their names are Bree and Flo. And I'm like, that's crazy. But they both do yoga. And the Flo, his way of saying push the ground away, like the one flow that I do is a strength flow where plank is the resting pose. So you're in plank, and it's like I'm not just holding up my body off the ground, I'm actually pushing the ground away. And I had never heard anyone say push the ground away. And I feel like when English is your second language, you are much more deliberate in your speech. And so the way that he describes how to do things literally clicked so hard that I had like borderline psychedelic body experiences doing this yoga. So yeah. And in November, I started going to trade school to the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh for bricklaying, for masonry. And so that was a goal I set back in May, and it came through in November. And I'm still doing it. I'm halfway through the program. And it is kind of like a workforce development program. So it's like a pre-apprenticeship. And I really just straight up love it. Like laying brick is really fun. And one of my goals in learning this trade is to show other young queer people that this is a place that you can, like, this is an accessible field. And if you want to learn a trade that like will always be around and is needed and is like actually really important, like you can do that. I had some really cool experiences when I first started, and I still have cool experiences, but the very first week, this man, I'm not going to name any names, but the kind of program coordinator pulled me aside during the orientation week and was like, he pulled me aside outside of the classroom and was like, hey, I just want to make sure I know how I should be referring to you, because we have a few trans men in the program, and I just want to make sure that you are respected in the ways that you want to be referred to. And literally, like, at that point, I had been on testosterone for maybe 4 weeks, and like, I wasn't telling anyone, but I felt clocked, and it was so amazing to be able to like be met in that way. And so I told him at the time I was a little more loose about it. But I was like, yeah, I'm like trans masculine, I guess. And like, I'm okay with any pronoun for now. Maybe later, like when I start developing more, I will prefer he, him all the time. But for now, like he, him, or she, her is fine. And then I had the main instructor. I was helping someone tear down their wall, and he was telling the person that I was going to help them. And he was like, she will help you. And then he's like, what should I call you? And I was like, either one is fine, she or he. And he was like, well, she, for now, is going to help you. And I was like, damn, dude, you're knowing something that I don't even know. Like, you're on some, like, he knew, you know what I mean? So, and then I had many other really like gender affirming experiences in a trade that I would say is typically considered pretty like conservative and truly like I have never felt this level of acceptance in a school or in a kind of work setting. Basically we go in there and we lay brick every day where we build up a wall as high as we can, and at the end of the day we tear it down, and that just means, you know, we take it brick by brick and clean the mortar off and put the bricks back. And like, yeah, truly it has been an amazing gender affirming experience, especially in a field that I feel is pretty male dominated. There's a diverse group of people in age and in gender and in expression generally, and it has been such an amazing experience so far. And yeah, when we return from break on the 6th of January, I will be in week 6 of a 10-week program. Technically 11 weeks with the orientation, but I'm at week 6, and I am just so excited. And one of my goals not even one of my goals, it's just like what I feel is going to happen on the path that I'm currently on is in 2026, I'm going to be laying brick as an apprentice. And I would like to get a tiling job, like laying tile, so that I can have work that is more year round, whereas laying brick, there are seasons for it since it's outdoor work. Anyway, I won't get super nerdy about it because I want to talk more about like the whole year and how interesting everything is. But yeah, it's been huge. It's been like laying brick has been such a blast, and I'm really excited to do more, and it feels good to do something with my body that's making me strong. And also like being on testosterone, being aware of my body, like the first day of orientation when I was just mixing mortar and doing like, we had to like be spreading mortar on a block. Like my hands were shaking literally like this, and I thought that I couldn't continue forward. And then I realized I just wasn't eating enough. And so I started eating carbs. Like I got Teddy Grahams and just started eating Teddy Grahams at the break, and that helped so much. And so like laying brick and being on testosterone, I literally eat 4 meals a day. And that is so crazy. I can't even imagine. Oh my God. I am just going to be yawning like 100 times because I am very tired. And I want to write down this too. Okay, so now I'm actually just going to go from the beginning of the year and give kind of like an update. So in January, my friend at the time, Blake, had kind of, I had told him I had a crush on him a couple years ago. And then he told me that he was at this point in January interested in intimacy, like platonic intimacy or whatever. And so like me and my husband, who have always been in an open relationship, decided that we would, well, we had, there's a lot, but we decided we would start to practice polyamory. And so I'm coming up on a year of dating Blake, and I have a boyfriend and a husband, and it's literally like the greatest the greatest thing. I feel like I am so blessed and honored to have the privilege to um, get to be romantically involved with two people. And it's something that I never really expected for this year. And it has been just such a blessing um, getting to know Blake in this way. And um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I don't think I would have done without his encouragement and his championing of me. I'm blessed. I have nothing written down for February or March. I'm sure things happened in that time. I played a lot of shows this year as Larval State, which is like my band, which I don't think is going to be playing any shows in 2026, but we'll see. We played a lot of shows, and I played a lot of solo shows as well. Oh, huh. But in April, I started learning Gothic calligraphy, which I have some examples on the wall. And if you go to my Instagram, I have two Instagrams now. One is shrine.scribe, and scribe is spelled with a Y. Shrine.scribe, like scry, almost like scrying, if you know what scrying is, like divination, SCRYE. I don't know actually how to spell it, but it's shrine, SHRINE dot scribe, SCRYBE. That's my art Instagram, and I post like my calligraphy there. So I started that practice in April, and I approached it as a practice. I feel like it was such a hack to actually just practice something. Also, I realize I have a little sample of my calligraphy here on this little pin that I made. This is Brick Life. I made this back in June, or maybe it was August actually. And I don't know how well you'll actually be able to see it, but it's super cute. It's just like Brick Life. Which that's another thing that where I made that pin. But anyway, I approached calligraphy as a practice where I like literally practiced just writing the alphabet every day. And it is so crazy. Like, I've always been kind of interested in handwriting. Like, I remember as a child wanting to be writing, like changing the way that I wrote my Y's or like my T's, you know? So I felt pretty interested in learning calligraphy in my, like, as an art practice. And truly, I have never practiced art in this way where I do something every day. And I have certainly fallen off of it and do not practice it every day. But it is one of my goals for 2026 to learn a new kind of calligraphy, new to me kind of calligraphy, which is the uncial, I don't know. It's a type of calligraphy that was used from like the 8th century to about the 14th century. That is like the kind of typical Celtic calligraphy that you would see is kind of like this uncial thing. I'm not going to get into the whole fucking thing, but learning calligraphy taught me how to be in discipline and in practice in a way that is joyful, because I'm in flow and I'm working on a thing and then I'm seeing results from that thing, which just blew my mind. And so I started doing that in April, and then in May I started doing yoga. Like I said, for strength training, because I decided in May that I wanted to stop driving the school bus and go to something to learn how to lay brick. And I didn't even know about the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh yet at that time. I was just like betting on something coming through so that I could learn bricklaying. So I started doing yoga, which was another kind of practice where it would be like, I can't do a, let me think of what the name, flying starfish is the name of this one pose. Like, I just straight up could not do it in the beginning. It was so challenging. and required so much strength and balance that I just couldn't do it. And then eventually, because you would have to hold it for about 10 seconds. And then I was able to do it after practicing for a few weeks. And it was like so exciting to be able to literally see progress and feel progress in my body. Like, this was before testosterone also. And like, it is so crazy. And I'm sure people have this experience all the time, but I don't. So I was pretty like, wow, this is so cool. And then in May also, my husband Steve started dating his now partner Ashley. And that kind of set me on this whole course for almost the entire summer. Just to be totally vulnerable here, I wanted to meet Ashley really bad, and they had been friends probably since February, and I wanted to meet her really bad, but she was pretty nervous to meet me, which in hindsight, I completely understand. Like, Steve and I have been together for 8 years, and she has never been in a polyamorous situation before. So I'm understanding of it now. I have also since met her. But for all of the summer, like, the way that I coped with not being able to just meet her and vibe check her, I like and I'm not saying this is not like because of her or the situation, but in the very end of May, I shaved my head. Like on May 30th, I shaved my head. And then all like the whole summer, I just stayed doing yoga, stayed doing calligraphy, was reading, like, I have this book of like, oh yeah, also I'm like into Catholic saints and stuff now. I don't know. It's so weird, but I started reading this like Christian mystics, writings of the Christian mystics, and was just reading mystical writings every day. I was like in a, like, I wasn't working because I stopped driving the school bus. So I was just like, wake up, read scripture, do yoga, practice calligraphy, like full monk mode for the entire summer. And of course, I was playing shows and stuff. And in June, I turned 28, which every birthday, every year that I become older, every time I am just like shocked that I am still alive. It is becoming less shocking because I love being alive so much. But genuinely, as a child, I did not think that I was going to live this long. Just because of how unhappy I was and how much I didn't want to be here. And now there is so much joy in my life. I like genuinely love being here. So turning 28 was huge. I feel like when you turn 28, you're kind of in your Saturn return. If anyone knows about astrology, Saturn obviously has a very large orbit, and it is only in signs. It's in a sign for like 2.5 years, and it takes 28 years to return to that sign. So the last time that Saturn was in Aries was when I was born. So in my natal chart, I have Saturn in Aries. And so from 1997 to like 1999, roughly, Saturn was in Aries during that time. And Saturn has just now come back to Aries when I'm 28. And so I'm in my Saturn return, where Saturn has returned to the sign of my natal Saturn. And basically Saturn is just about like kind of structure and like relationships, or like relating. And I feel that so much. I feel it all being shaken up so much. And I love it. And also it is insane at times. Just the kind of lessons that are required of me at this time. So I'll get into that a little more later once I get to December. But Hopefully someone wants to watch this. Maybe no one wants to watch this. I don't really care. Maybe my family's watching this. I hope so. Okay, so in July, one very important thing happened. And there was another important thing too. So I'll talk about the thing. They're both important. But Blake took me to St. Anthony's Chapel here in Pittsburgh and Troy Hill. And it is the second largest collection of Catholic saint relics in the world, second only to the Vatican. And I think that, like, I don't consider myself Catholic or anything. I wasn't raised Catholic, but I find it all so fascinating. And literally, like, a relic is like a piece, a first class relic is a piece of a person's body. And they have thousands of relics in this church, in this chapel, of like little bones, from little bone fragments to a full-blown skull, like a veiled skull, and like leg bones and stuff of like saints. And it is so cool. And they have like a tooth of Saint Anthony. It's so crazy. So I went there, and that was very impactful and kind of was fueling my bricklaying desires. Because like just walking around in churches in general and like these kinds of common places, sacred common places, like the people that built those spaces are not recognized, and often not credited. And to be someone that builds something that will last for many years and be a space in which people can gather in community, like to be someone that has a hand in literally creating the physical space and have no recognition, I find something extremely sacred in that. And that is one of my goals in bricklaying, not necessarily to build churches, but to be a nameless, faceless person to contribute to something larger than me. So going there and being in that space and feeling the energy of all of these saints that people come and pray to, it was really powerful. But the most important thing that happened in July was I watched K-pop Demon Hunters. And I haven't been the same since. I've seen the movie like 4 or 5 times. And I literally just love it so much. EJ is like my favorite vocalist of this year. Maybe, like, I don't want to say of all time, but maybe. Like, her story is so powerful, and I'm literally not going to go off about it. Just look up interviews with EJ, EJAE, okay? If you haven't watched K-pop Demon Hunters, literally watch it. What are you waiting for? If you were waiting for someone to tell you, I'm telling you right now, you should watch it, okay? I'm trying to figure out how I can, like, pirate it just so that people that don't have Netflix or don't want to give Netflix money can watch it, because everyone should be able to watch this movie. I think it should literally be free for everyone on Earth to watch it. So if you haven't watched it, then watch it. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about it. I love it so much. So anyway, in August, I got health insurance for the first time in 3 years, which was huge and allowed me to get testosterone in September. And then also in September, Blake and I went on a little pilgrimage to Ohio, and we went to the Shrine of St. Dymphna in Massillon. And if you don't know anything about St. Dymphna, this is obviously you're not going to be able to see this, but this is an illustration of St. Dymphna. She is the patron saint of people suffering from mental disorders. And she was kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but maybe I'll show you anyway. No, you're not. Yeah, okay. So this little plaque here, like last year, like in 2024, I found this plaque at the thrift store, and I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, Saint Dymphna, I don't know anything about her. I didn't know anything about saints at the time. And then I was just like, oh, it's $1. Like, it seems like a sacred object. I'll get it. And then I learned that she's the patron saint of people suffering from mental illness. And I was like, wow, that is so serendipitous and crazy. And then it sent me on this whole spiral. Yeah, sorry, I heard something in my house. Yeah, then I just got really into Catholic saints, which I kind of view as the same thing as like artists, people who are inspired and sharing their inspiration with the world. So that's kind of how I look at Catholic saints. Like, I think that people like EJ should be regarded as saints. People who are so inspired that they are expressing their truth and their emotional vulnerability, like that is saintly to me. Like, not to call myself a saint, but some of my favorite artists to me are saints. And then I view saints as artists as well. So not that you need to know all that, but I went to the Shrine of Saint Dymphna in Maslin, and then I also went to Hildegard House in I can't remember what the city was, but it's kind of up near Cleveland. Is it Fairview? I can't remember. But Hildegard of Bingen is another saint who is just so awesome. And I literally could just make a video talking about saints in general. If anyone's interested in that, let me know. I don't think anyone's interested in that. And there's plenty of people talking about saints online already, and I don't need to. But Hildegard House was really amazing. And yeah, like Hildegard of Bingen is just, she was like a medieval, what would the word be? Like an abbess? I can't remember what the fucking word is, because I'm kind of brain dead right now. Anyway, she was really cool. And she was like an herbalist and she like wrote music and all sorts of things. She's a wild one for real. Worth looking her up, Hildegard of Bingen. I'm not doing her justice right now because I'm so tired. And then, okay, so we're at 32 minutes. So in October, I decided to do Monktober. So I shaved my head back in June, and I shaved my head again in October, and I shaved it every Sunday of October. And I just dedicated more time to reading like mystical writings, and anytime I left the house I would dress modestly, which I already kind of dress modestly, so it was silly. But it was just kind of like a fun thing. But then like right at the beginning I cut my hair into a tonsure, which if you're not familiar with the tonsure, it's kind of like this haircut except the top of the head is straight up shaved bald. Like if you've seen like medieval, like illustrations of medieval monks. I thought it would be cool because the tonsure was actually outlawed in the 70s, in like the 1970s. And I was like, damn, like the Roman Church outlawed tonsures. And I was like, yeah, I want to bring that back. But I had that for one day, and then it worked so well that I had completely lost my sexuality, and I wanted to like completely cloister myself and remove myself from society. And I just couldn't do that. So I decided to just be shaving my head, which is still a monk move. But yeah, so that was crazy. Also, I want to say that I can't remember when I started, but earlier this year, I started recording my album, The Tools of Service, which is all songs from 2024 and a bit of 2025 as well. I started recording that with my friend Noah, and then I kind of finished recording in the beginning of December. They're just waiting on me to record a song DIY style, and it's hard approach, and it's really challenging song to record. I'm considering just putting like the demo on the album instead of recording it new, which feels like a cop-out. But so that album I like completely recorded this year, and I'm really pleased with that and excited to release it, hopefully by early next year. And also I recorded back in, I think September or October. It was October. I recorded with Larval State, and Noah recorded Larval State. We recorded like me on vocals, Punky on drums, and Steve on bass. And so that's another bit of music that's going to come out next year. I'm really excited to share. And then, yeah, okay, so then I started at the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh in November, and that's been amazing. And then in December, here we are. This year, my kind of friend group that I have had for the last 2 years, like totally fractured, and for a couple reasons, and I'm not going to get into them, but it was mostly like interpersonal reasons. It totally fractured throughout the year. And for the last 2 years, like for New Year's Eve 2024 and New Year's Eve 2023, I would throw a big New Year's Eve party and invite a bunch of people. The first year we watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and the second year we watched the Matrix quadrilogy. And I didn't have an idea for what this year would be, because back in July, when like Steve started dating Ashley, and then like Blake has a long-term partner, I started to realize that the holiday season was about to get complicated, because my relationship with my extended family, where the traditions of Thanksgiving and Christmas lie, my relationship with them is one based in obligation. And because I am feeling the challenge and the trials of changing the way that I relate to others, I knew that I could not continue to try to be something for someone, period. And by continuing to engage with the traditions of my extended family, who truly do not know me and they're not curious about who I am and have not shown curiosity at all. Like our connection is obligation. You know what I mean? Maybe you get it. The vibe that I get is that because we are related by blood, I am expected to be a body in the room. And I am not comfortable being a body in a room unless I want to be there. And if I want to be there, I'm not just a body in the room, I'm just there. But if I don't want to be there, I am just a body in the room. And I am more than just my body, you know? And so, like, the friend group blew up. We started practicing polyamory. I started being incapable of relating to my family anymore in the same way that I have. So I knew that for the holidays, I knew in the summer when it dawned on me, I knew that I was going to be alone for every holiday. And it is New Year's Eve. I spent the yesterday and into the evening, like until 5 o'clock today with Blake, and that was amazing. Steve is with his partner. Currently, I am alone. Christmas, I spent the first half of the day with Steve, and then he went with his partner. And Christmas Eve, I spent a little bit of time with Steve, and then I spent several hours with Blake, and then I was alone for the evening of Christmas Eve. And for Thanksgiving, I spent the evening with my housemate and friend Punky. And so I haven't been completely alone, but every tradition that I've had has died this year. And I welcome that death to make room for something new. But it has been really trying emotionally, and I've been shown that there are ways that I do not show up for myself very well. And I actually made a video where I talk for like 20 minutes just at the camera, and I did that on Christmas Eve. I just needed to talk to someone, and so I just made that. I made a video and I was going to post it, but I decided not to because it felt kind of insane. But it was just for me anyway, you know. Yeah, being alone during the holidays, it has been challenging in really crazy ways. And like when I look back at this year, to me, it has been such a transformative year. It only makes sense that anything that I have felt obligated to or that I have only chosen out of habit needs to be flushed out and needs to be changed. And so even though it has been painful and I have been definitely feeling a mix of like, I am glad that I'm not engaging in these traditions. And also, even if I don't think that Christmas should be significant, because it has been significant for a lot of my life, and I have always had a place to go, not having a place where I feel like I belong has been painful. And I belong with myself, and I am home, and I am loved here. But being alone has been really challenging. And it's been pretty funny, you know? I met up with my mom and my dad and my stepmom the other day, and my mom already knew that I was on testosterone and that I've been dating Blake, but I wanted to tell them, and I had other serious things to talk to them about that I'm not going to get into, but I wanted to tell my dad and my stepmom about testosterone and stuff. And then I was also talking about, I was talking to them about how I didn't want to continue to try to be someone that I am not, for my family that genuinely does not want to get to know who I am now as an adult. And my mom was like, you don't have to sacrifice your happiness for anybody. And I was like, are you literally quoting Anxiety Song at me? And I had just quoted Anxiety Song earlier that week at Christmas Eve, where I was like, man, just when I think that I have like moved beyond, it's like I can't stand being alone for just a little while, just a couple hours, and I will hate myself. I was like, wow, that's literally me right now. That's pretty crazy. Who knows who will watch this video? 42 minutes long. Probably no one. Maybe one person will. I am very excited for the coming year. I have really big dreams, and there's one intention that I've been willing to share. I have many intentions, but only one that I've been willing to share with others. And that is that I would like to build a stone archway or brick or stone archway. It is my goal in 2026 to do that. And yeah, if you have any questions about bricklaying or about Catholic saints or anything that I've talked about, just drop a comment and I will respond. It's been really cool to see people interacting with me on here. And yeah, I thought you all deserved an update. So yeah, this is it. Happy New Year. Allow me to just welcome you to 2026. And I hope that you're doing well. Wishing good health and good luck to you and to your loved ones. Yeah. Okay. I love you.